Well, hello there. Would you look at us? We're back. It's finally time. It's finally time. The Last of Us Season 2 Episode 1 aired. That means that the rest of us Season 2 Episode 1 is back, baby. And it's the original crew. Welcome on.
Hello.
Welcome, Nick.
Hello. Hello.
And welcome me.
Lily.
Yay!
Yay.
We're all back. What a journey. What a journey. It feels like we just did this like yesterday.
Yeah, kind of does.
Kinda.
Does,
Yeah. Which is good. It's good. That's a good sign. But yes, this is very exciting. Season 2 of The Last of Us finally started on Max. And we're here to talk about it. And first, we're going to talk about it without spoilers. So, what did you think about the episode without spoilers on Caroline? Please.
Yes. So, not spoilers, just going into it. It's very good. It's, of course, got a little bit of a different pacing than the game for people who've played the game, but I think it works very well for a TV show to be a bit more linear. And Lily will talk about this a little bit more, but they took a bunch of our suggestions, basically, from, like, complaints, other issues that we had from Season 1, and was like, you know what? We're going to try and fix it. And I think they did. I loved it. It was a great start to Season 2.
Nick?
Yeah, it was interesting for me. I definitely, like, we always joke that Lily was the salty one in Season 1. I feel like I'm going to be the salty one. I feel like the show's kind of been soured for me in a way. I don't know. There's just parts of it where I feel like people are like the creators and stuff are so pretentious, and it like I don't know, it's been soured for me. So I was a bit nervous coming into Season 2, but I must say I'm pleasantly surprised by
Okay.
what we have.
I was gonna get up and leave.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
No. I was pleasantly surprised because I think what I'm trying to get out of the new season is I'm not trying to focus on it being like a true Last of Us adaptation. Because this episode 1, the first thing I'll say, spoiler free, is that it felt like its own TV show. I think Season 1 had this sort of shadow of like being an adaptation of a video game, and this one actually feels like it's sort of coming into its own as a TV show. Because there's elements of Season 1 that they've brought into Season 2 that have nothing to do with the games, essentially. Or the changes that they've made, they kind of are sticking with them, and that's what I really liked about it. They're not saying like, oh, people didn't like that it wasn't a true adaptation, so let's go back to it. They're kind of saying, well, this is a TV show that we're making, and it's based on the Last of Us video game. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So I was pleasantly surprised, but I still have my nitpicks.
Okay.
We'll get into.
Fair. That's fair. I was a bit surprised at the beginning when you started talking. I was like, what?
I know.
Even I look, I have to
I
admit.
got some things to say, guys.
To be fair, me too. But I was the salty one for sure. I was like, I think I was the saltiest with The Last of Us. Oops, bit of a harsh critic over here, but that's because I really, really like the game, and it really just felt like they fundamentally changed things in it that I just couldn't get on board with. And I am very, very pleased with the beginning of this season. For now, this looks like what Craig Mazin said once Season 1 ended, that, they heard the feedback and they're going to be more infected, for example, which I bitched about a lot. I think we can say that they took that to heart, and it's already like even the atmosphere of it feels very different from what we got in Season 1. I think if there's such a thing, I think the storytelling got even better than it was, which I will get into more with the spoiler part of why I think that. But yes, so far, for a first episode of a new season, this was a very, very good start. So yeah, that's without spoilers. So this is your warning. If you haven't seen the episode yet, which is Season 2, Episode 1, go away. Watch it.
Yeah,
Get out of
Joe, in the
here.
most
Get
polite
out of
way
here.
possible.
Yes. Get out of
You're
here.
infected. Run away.
But then come back. So,
Please.
once you watch it, come back, because now we're going to talk about spoilers, which is always the fun and juicy stuff. Yes, but if you don't want to get The Last of Us Season 2 spoiled for yourself, and you haven't played the game either, go and watch it and then come back. So, 1, 2, 3, spoiler time. We're stepping into spoiler territory. You've been warned. Let's start with the obvious, which is they almost start exactly the same as they started the game, which is Ellie asking once again that final scene from season 1.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm not gonna lie, as someone who really, really enjoyed how the second game started, I missed the talk between Joel and Tommy a little bit.
Yeah.
Where he reveals what happened. I was a bit like, it would have been nice to see that scene.
I kinda do understand why they did in the game versus the show, because in the game, there's not really like a intro to the game saying, here's what happened in The Last of Us, part 1. So here's how we're going to explain everything again. Whereas with the show, it was like, here's a TLDR. Okay, we're getting right into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did kind of miss that little moment.
Yeah, because it was, I think, once again, I think I'm going to have more problems with these tiny things because, I think that in the previous season, where I mentioned that, I really missed how Tommy realizes how important it is for him to help Joel was not included. I also miss in here a little bit because I'm not saying it's makes it disappear like the whole brotherly bond and whatnot, but it's kind of a bit gone, or feels a bit gone. I might be completely wrong.
It's almost like there's an equal, well, not terribly equal disconnect between Tommy and Joel versus like Joel and Ellie. But I wonder if it's because Joel is a little bit jealous of this kind of bond that Tommy now has with Ellie.
Could be, maybe. That's also a good thought. I don't know. Maybe. But I did miss that little starting scene a little bit. I always liked Tommy and Joel together. That's always like a nice moment. So I was like,
we just like Jeffrey Pierce fine. Too.
yeah, exactly. Like Jeffrey is the best. So no surprises there. All right. And then we did that 5-year jump very quickly. I was a bit surprised. And I was surprised by the start because we actually never get to see Ellie or anyone train or do anything in the game. So I think that first scene was really fun. And
it freaked
really
me out a little bit. Not gonna lie. I was like,
what's going on? What's happening?
But it turned out okay. It was nice too because that was the first shot we get of her tattoo that is covering the bite. Covering
which is your tattoo.
Which is my tattoo.
Yeah.
For almost 3 years. It'll be exciting to have other people getting that tattoo. So I think that'll be fun. But it was really nice to see because I've got some more Easter eggs that'll come up in like a little bit later about the tattoo. But I liked that it was just one of the first things we saw as the tattoo because it's huge meaning.
Yeah, fair. I also like that Jesse seems to get a bigger role here versus the game because Jesse's great. I really like Jesse.
Jesse is fantastic because one of the first things we get with Jesse in the game is like, hey, you're late. We got to get going on patrol. But here it's like we're seeing a bit more of like the community. We're seeing more of the bond because it works better that way as a show. Because if it's in a video game with too much of cinematics, some people don't like that. But I love how much more we are getting with Jesse.
I think Jesse's like a pretty good sort of adaptation from the game. I feel like he's very similar. He looks exactly the same. I like his style and the way like his outfits and stuff. I like that he's got this sort of banter with Eddie as well. That's kind of like a I'm your superior, but you listen to me, but I also think you're really cool. So I like Jesse. I think he's pretty cool. And yeah, I we'll get to later things.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, Jesse is pretty cool. I really enjoyed this character in the game, and yeah, did a good job with this casting, which is not surprising to me, to be fair. I gotta say, uh, first and foremost, Joel working as the head of construction.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew what they were doing.
Okay, I couldn't tell if that side was you going to say something negative. I was like, here's the contractor. We're good. We're good.
We're good. We're good. No, they knew what they were doing.
Because I've been fresh playing the game to get ready for season 2. It was really sweet seeing more of a connection with Dina and Joel, and a really cool Easter egg, which is what I'm here for.
Yes.
Dina, when they reached a place that Eugene stayed at, talked about how Eugene was the one to teach her electronics and how to do other things. So it was kind of nice seeing it kind of shift slightly to, hey, Joel, teach me something. Even though it was kind of like a little manipulative to kind of be like, tell me what's up with you guys. But like seeing Joel light up with like, oh, you want me to teach you something? Yeah. And knowing that she kind of already has like an interest in that already was really nice. I liked that little connection.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was definitely a sweet moment. But also, I don't want to brag, but I gotta, because I am very proud of myself that I am catching on to things much faster lately. The second they broke through that pipe, I was 100% sure that it will somehow involve the little wines and whatnot of our lovely fungi. And boy, when I tell you that almost at the end of the episode where they revealed that, yep, it's there, it's coming through the little system, I was so indicated. I literally went.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, because that's
Thank
totally
you.
what's going to be calling the Horde.
Oh, fuck yeah.
100%.
I'm so excited for it. I'm like, this part in particular, it is not included, not even implied that something bad is about to happen with Jackson. Jackson just exists. It's a safe haven and whatnot, and a horde actually getting in there, which is heavily implied in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That is not in the game.
Not at all.
That is not in the game.
I think it's gonna be fun either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that they're doing just to kind of elongate the season.
Probably
because I wanted to kind of talk about this right at the end, but the big moment that we talk about, the big defining moment of The Last of Us Part 2, I think they're saving that for the end of the season, very much. So I think like the Horde breaking into Jackson, I think is just a way for them to kind of elongate the season a little bit. I don't know. What's your guys' take on that?
I agree with the elongating of the season, but I don't think the defining moment is going to happen at the end. I think it's going to happen either I don't think it'll happen next week, but I think it may happen in episode 3.
We should take bets. Do you think episode 3?
I think episode 3.
Okay.
No, I think
episode 5.
Oh wow, that's way too late. No. I think they have bulls.
Because I think it's going to happen one episode later than episode 3, but I think episode 4 is going to be the bottle episode.
Maybe. I'm going to say the creators have bulls. I think it's happening in the next episode.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't think they're going to wait. I don't think they're going to wait.
The games, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back just slightly to Dina, I want to talk about
Isabel Merced. Yeah.
Merced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Dina is one of my favorite characters from part 2, and the attitude and just like the demeanor is so Dina. Like absolutely perfect, because her and Ellie combined make this most chaotic force, and their chemistry together is exactly how it should be. It's almost like taking their worst parts and accentuating them, but also their best parts at the same time. And I just grinning ear to ear every time Dina was there. I love her so much.
If we're praising characters and casting and whatnot, there are 2 people who I want to highlight immediately. One of them is the amazing Caitlin Dever, who plays Abby. And I have to say, she has a really tiny role in this first episode. First of all, I'm really glad that they already showed her. And second of all, if anyone has ever shown that they were perfectly cast, she's on that list. Like the way she looked up, for example, after the grave. I was like, I got chills. I was like, the fuck?
When she said she wants to do it slowly.
Ooh. Just and that look as she turned back and you could see that determination on her face. I was like, this is so good.
They also nailed it with her look. I mean, my biggest thing about Caitlin Dever is I love her. I think she's an amazing actress. But Abby in the game is like built like a brick shithouse. She's like ripped. And I was kind of thinking Caitlin Dever's a little bit teeny. So I would, and it's not that she had to be big or anything. But when I saw her and she had the same fit and she had the same little hairstyle and everything, I was like, and she even looks like Abby.
Yes.
That's when I was like, you know what, I'm on board. I kind of, because we also saw her the 5 years before, and we got a little glimpse of her at the end of the episode where she arrives at Jackson, and she's got all of her jackets and stuff on. But I'd like to see like what they do about her physique. Not that she needs to be ripped or anything, but it kind of is a big part of her character in the game.
Yes. So it's not that I don't disagree with the casting, because I think she embodies Abby incredibly well. However, part of embodying, that was unintentional. I do miss the representation of a more muscular femme person. I do still wish that we had that, because there's no way her frame is going to be able to amass that kind of muscle. So it's not going to be something that happens. But I do miss that representation of having that. But I was truly impressed with the acting. And it was really cool seeing like the, because they have the stuff after the episode where it's like, here's a little making of. And in one of like the interview parts, she's wearing this kind of like gray, like waffle style sweater. And that's exactly what she wears in the lodge that they stay at. And that's one of the things I've been paying attention to is the outfits to see if they match up. So I was really impressed with the acting, and I'm curious to your guys' thoughts on revealing her intentions already within episode 1. I've seen mixed reactions.
Ooh, right.
So I'm curious what you guys think.
That's a really good point, because in the game you don't know.
You don't.
At all. It kind of takes you by surprise.
You kind of know that she's searching for Joel, but you have no idea why.
Yeah, I think it works because it sets something up and it asks those questions. And it obviously they show you that they show the giraffes at the beginning, so you know that they're at that hospital, you know where it is. And you know kind of what's happening. So I guess the audience is kind of aware of what's happening, but ooh, that's an interesting point. I didn't even notice that really, because I think it's done really well to start the episode where it's kind of like you understand it and you get it. But this is also from the perspective of someone who's played the game numerous times. So I already know exactly what this character is all about.
Also, not everything needs to be revealed in the first episode. We got a clue. The rest is gonna come. Like, it's just how a story works. So for people who've not played the game, it's okay that you don't understand who these people are yet. And that's fine, because you will find out. And you'll find out aggressively. But with the therapist, I think that's a really cool thing, having this moment with the therapist and her talking with Joel about, you killed Eugene. One, I don't know if he actually did kill Eugene or if that's something that he's telling her, because in the game he's one of the only people to die from natural causes, which was just a stroke. But with that, I thought, okay, what's the point of her bringing this out other than to just have Joel reveal to her what's going on? It's possible that that group does get into Jackson for some reason. And maybe the therapist tells them where to find Joel because she's still really mad about him killing her husband.
No, that would be too much drama. And this story already has drama.
I think it would be cool.
No, I think
the therapist needs some kind of moment like that to be a character. That's actually a nice idea. Maybe the therapist sort of gives Joel up because she still wants revenge for him killing Eugene. It's actually a nice idea, that one.
Yes, the other casting I wanted to mention was Catherine O'Hara, who plays the therapist. She's the fucking best. We've known this since I'm not even gonna say Schitt's Creek at first. I just did. But Schitt's Creek is a treasure. If you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, immediately watch it. It's the most heartwarming series ever. I love it with a passion. But you know, she's the mom in Home Alone.
And now she's currently home alone.
Ooh, getting dark.
Yeah. So good. That was a good one. That was a good one. So we've known her since we've been children, and she's fucking great, and she proves it here again. I fucking love that scene between her and Joel. I think it was, first of all, two amazing actors just being their absolutely best self. Second of all, not gonna lie, what she says to Joel about not being able to heal until you say it out loud, and you're not gonna be able to change, that hit home so hard.
Yeah.
That I wasn't ready to cry at this episode. I did at that point. I was like, God fucking damn it, like what the hell? It's so good. And the delivery, the meaning of what she was saying, everything was just so masterfully done. And I will tell you why I wouldn't like if she would like give up Joel to Abby. I wouldn't like that because I think it's an insanely important moment in Tommy's story. You know, it's something that should come from, you know, when Tommy is there and Tommy is around, and it happens by accident. I haven't played the second game from the beginning in a while because I just can't get through that scene again. So I don't remember which one of them is the one who reveals that we are Tommy and Joel, but I think it was Tommy, wasn't it?
I believe it was, because I think he says, yeah, I'm Tommy and this is my brother Joel.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, then I remember correctly. I think if they
that scene so well because Tommy says that, and as soon as he says this is my brother Joel, everyone in the room kind of
change.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it's
true.
It's so good.
Okay, so then I remember correctly. If they take that away from him, yeah, no, I don't, and it would be too much of a. Yeah, I think even if they, make up new stuff, which they obviously going to do with the horde and everything, the reason why I think we're not gonna, wait with the big moment and things like that is because if the information is correct and Craig Mazin was telling the truth, we're covering Ellie's story in this second season, which means that she still needs to get to places. So it wouldn't make sense if they would just make up even more drama and whatnot. And also, I don't think it needs it. To be honest, I don't think we need more added things. If anything, just because I had a problem with this in season 1 as well. So it's as much as I love Catherine O'Hare, I think this was enough. To be fair, they can still bring her into some smaller moments, but like I would rather spend more time and I would rather get more explanation for characters like Isaac, for example, who is thankfully played by Jeffrey Wright in the series, who is also the one who voiced him in the game. And I always felt like that Isaac needed more time. We didn't really get a clear view of like, okay, who is this Isaac again? Like, what is going on? So yeah, I'd rather spend time with people who already exist within the game. I don't mind adding new characters, but I'm like, don't give them more power than what they need.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm very much from this first episode. I thought about it before the season started, and from this first episode, I very much think that we are not even going to get to the point where Ellie gets to Seattle.
Oh no, I don't think that's true.
The season goes further than that.
Just look at the trailer.
I think what we're going to get is like a lot of backstory on characters. I think Isaac's in the show to kind of bridge that moment between the end of season 1 and where Abby gets to Jackson. And I think he's there for that sort of moment for sort of Abby's journey of those 5 years in Seattle. I think that's the Seattle scenes that we've got, but I don't think we're going to get Ellie in Seattle. I think season 3 will start when Ellie goes to Seattle. That's just my that's my guess on it so far.
Look at the trailer. One of the most shocking scenes is in the trailer. Which is big as spoilers. Spoiler if you haven't played the game. Which is the scene when Ellie is in the hospital and falls down into the infected zone with whatever was her name. Not Mel. What was her name? When
lady?
No, not Mel.
No, I know who you mean. Yeah.
That moment is in the trailer. It's in the trailer. So they definitely they are definitely getting to Seattle. I think what is possible with Seattle is that it's not going to be in 3 days. I think maybe they pushed everything together in 1 day.
I can see them doing that simply because when playing the game, the only thing that really expands the timeline is all of the exploring that you're doing and reading notes. And that's what makes the game feel bigger, is doing those things. So I can see them very easily combining the journey into a day.
We obviously, the other big news is we have a season 3 confirmed already.
Yes.
Before season 2 came out, which is super cool. Do we think that then the whole of the second game will be covered at the end of season 3?
Well, because they are planning 4 seasons, I would say probably not. Like, unless we get a surprise announcement that there's actually going to be a Last of Us 3, which also was implied that it's not going to happen and it's a closed down story with part 2. So I don't know, I would say, why we have 4 seasons.
Do you think they could be saying we're going to cover part 2, or we're going to cover the second game in season 2 and 3, and then maybe season 4 they veer off and do their own thing? Create original
I think
stories?
that's possible because Neil Druckmann did say that when he writes, especially like wrote part 1 and part 2, part 1 was written as a definitive ending. I don't know if I'm going to ever be able to get back to this. It's kind of its own thing. And he said he did the same thing with part 2. He's like, if I get the chance to do it, probably. And it gives him the opportunity to expand on the story for the show because it's an easier avenue to do. So it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't, but I think it is a possibility. There's a couple of things that I was keeping an eye out on as Ellie was walking through Jackson. Just kind of, it's what you do at the beginning of part 2 is you explore through Jackson. And I was trying very hard to look for a specific character. So when you walk out for the first time, there is a man sitting there on his banjo playing with a dog that you get to pet. And I was waiting for this. I was like, hey, where is he? Because for people who don't know, that's Gustavo Santaolalla, who is the music composer for the game, who made a cameo in the game. And I was so pissed off that he wasn't there in that moment with the dog. But he actually comes in later at the New Year's dance. He's the old man sitting there playing a banjo. And that made me so happy. So happy to be able to see him come in with his cameo just sitting there playing happily. That part made me really, really happy.
Yeah, it's the small things.
It
small
is.
things. They really are doing a good job again to pay attention to all the small details that were also in the game and bringing it in here. I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I'm gonna be happy to see a bottle. I was very happy to see a bottle. I was like, I know that bottle. I used that bottle a million times.
I mean,
it saved my ass in a certain type of situation. So
it was really great, being able to watch Dino hold down R1 to go into listen mode. That was great because she counted how many clickers there were sitting there listening, and I was like, using a game mechanic.
That's actually such a good spot. Yeah, that's great.
It's great.
But sorry, a couple of Easter eggs right before that. So everybody's getting ready to go out onto their patrol, their Alpine patrol, and so they get their horses. We get Shimmer, sweet Shimmer, the horse. Shimmer. I love that horse so much. They're walking through, and he's giving like the speech of kind of like, here's what you need to do, such and such. And Gina chimes in saying, oh, do we need to, stick to the roads and then do such and such and write our names in the logbooks? Which I actually thought was low-key hilarious because that's what Jesse says in the games for them to do. And so her stepping in and saying that in his place, I don't know why that hit my funny bone so hard. And watching her just be sassy with him was so good. So good. And they end up leaving, and they're having like their little side conversations as they're going up the road, and they talk about Kat. And Kat, in the game, and sort of implied in the show, is potentially an ex-lover, a crush, somebody for Ellie. And Kat is actually the one who designs and helps design, but also tattoos her arm with the moth and fern. So Kat is the one who does that for Ellie. And I thought it was also really weird that the way they spelled cat in the show was C-A-T when it's actually K-A-T in the game. I thought that was weird. But that was a nice little nod and kind of like foreshadowing for Ellie and Ellie's particular, sexuality.
I want to talk about my favorite scene.
Is it the stalker?
It is the stalker.
Okay, right before that is my last Easter egg that I screamed with excitement. So, I don't know how I so perfectly played the game like in sync to be ready for this. So, I have a Discord for myself where I have a whole bunch of lists of things for The Last of Us to bring up. So, one of the things is when you get into the grocery store and, you finally take out the clicker, stabbing it in the ear, that's always great. There is a really fun little nod to the employee of the month board with the dog. In the game, it looks almost exactly the same. And you use that board, and the employee of the month, I believe, was June, which is the dog, and you use that particular June of 13 to open a safe that is directly behind you in the store. And I just screeched with excitement being able to see just like this perfect parallel. So happy.
But yeah, let's talk about the stalker because
a big scene.
God damn, yeah, it's a big scene. It's I think it might be one of my favorite scenes that they did so far altogether. I wasn't expecting them to introduce the stalker so quick after completely missing it in season 1. Just putting it out there. Which still annoys the shit out of me, if you can tell. But I'm like, they did it so well here that I am not as angry anymore. Maybe a little bit. God damn it. I like the way it showed up behind her. It gave me the creeps. I was like, the fuck? I wasn't ready for that. And I'm really bad at noticing like little things moving in the background and whatnot. And sometimes I don't even catch up on like, why is everyone suddenly so, freaked out? Yeah. Because I just don't notice things because I'm so focused on what the character is doing that I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I noticed that. Like, the fuck? I don't want that. I hate the stalkers so much in the game.
The noises that they make.
It freaks me the fuck out. And I was like, oh no, don't do this. And they did it so well that as Ellie was moving and searching for where the sound is coming from, every time they showed the stalker like slowly following her in the background, I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. I'm really not ready for this. And I will have to give them a big ass nod because as Ellie spots the stalker and the light hits her eyes and it lights up like cat's eyes, I didn't think they could make it any freakier. That's gonna give me nightmares tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
oh, the stalker looks so good.
What the fuck is that? And the way they did the whole like disappearing act with the stalker, fucking masterful. It was a pure reaction when she jumped on Ellie eventually. I literally screamed. I was like, fuck. Yeah. Like I was waiting for it to happen. And I still screamed. I'm still freaked out. So whoever came up with that scene, it was probably Craig Mazin because it was written and directed by him this first episode. Thank you. That was what I was asking for God's sake. In the first season as well, that they just can't walk around without any worry because these fucking things are around. That's why it's so scary and so dangerous to live outside.
That's what made the council scene a little terrifying too, because they're smart.
Yeah.
Freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
It's a typical like zombie like sequel kind of trope to say that like, oh, there's new infected now, there's different ones, but it's so effective because it's like it's not just like the same bad guys. Now they're evolving and they're getting stronger and they're more threatening. And I think it was maybe intentional in the first seasons to not reveal too many different types of infected so that they could save them for the second season, so that you start introducing one of them. Maybe we start seeing shamblers. Maybe we see a rat king at some point. Which
we better see both, or I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm gonna be livid.
I'm gonna be so.
But it was really cool to see a stalker because I think that's one of the most. I would even say it's the second most interesting infected in the Last of Us sort of lore. Mm-hmm. The first one's, I mean, the freaking clickers are amazing. But I like the stalkers because they just different in a way, but they sneaky and intelligent, which is, I think this council scene was so good because they were like, oh shit, and it was maybe even a nod to the audience to say that like, oh okay, we actually should be worrying about the infected because in season 1 we didn't seem to need to.
Exactly. I felt so vindicated. I was like, finally.
There's also a massive thing that I really want to talk about at the end of that scene.
Yes.
Ellie gets bitten.
Oh yeah, I was gonna lean into that next.
First and foremost, why did she get bit? What do you guys think?
I think they are showing the recklessness and the because the more we get into the game for part 2, it's you can see more of like this anger and this drive and such, and I think they're starting to plant those seeds of like a little bit reckless, angry teenager because she's still 19, and being able to push that narrative forward of like, now she sees how reckless she's being, now she sees what can happen with these stalkers, and it's going to have to be a lesson for her to be the person that she's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to it. I thought that they might gonna do the Dina finds out this early, but I am grateful that they didn't. Yeah, it's yeah. I was glad that in the end it was probably just I think it was I think Owen is perfectly correct here that it was just a lesson of maybe like slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
don't be so reckless. And also, to be fair, I think it was also establishing the threat of the stalkers a lot better.
I have no idea because obviously from season 1 we know she's immune and everything, and it's like she obviously can't show the bite, but I'm like, why bite her? And I have no idea what it is, but I'm so excited to find out. It's just it's a question that's like, why have this character?
Oh, maybe.
I was thinking initially. I was initially thinking like, does she get infected for real now, or does she she starts feeling connections to the infected?
Like, please don't do that.
Why is she bitten?
Please don't do that.
Like, it just makes no sense to me. Why bite this character that's immune?
Let's talk about the closing scene and then let's rate the episode. So altogether, the closing scene is obviously the dance scene. What did we think?
Oh,
so cute.
It was perfect. It was everything it should have been.
So cute.
And it's exactly like the game. It just everything about it was great, especially like having a little bit more of Jesse and kind of like we've broken up, we're not getting back together. It's just not going to happen. And seeing the friendship and like implication of like, we're not getting back together because I can see how she looks at you. Which I thought was really nice. But the whole dance and their little conversation, in each other's ears. And I want to say something real quick to the people who are completely obsessed with the way that Ellie needs to look because she doesn't look the same as she is in the game. Like, oh, it should have been a different actress who's older. You don't understand. You don't understand because the way Bella Ramsey plays Ellie, especially in this scene, seeing the hairstyle, the clothes, the demeanor, the way that she acts is fucking Ellie. That is Ellie. It is everything that she should be. And the seriousness, the anxiety, the everything, that seeing her just kind of stand there watching Dina dance and everything going on with like the micro adjustments with acting on their face. I just sat there again, just saying, that's Ellie. Like, I felt so elated and happy. I don't care that she doesn't look exactly like she does in the game. I care that she
brings the character.
She brings the character to life, and that's the point.
Like, I love the scene where Dina drags Ellie onto the dance floor. I love that scene in the game. Mm-hmm. And I was looking forward to seeing that scene in the show because I think it's such a like understated romantic scene that's like there doesn't have to be any massive gestures or anything. It's just about the two people connecting.
Yeah.
And I think it's so beautiful and so pretty. And like when they had their kiss, they're like, oh, it's so cute. I think the chemistry is really. I think Bella and Isabel play the characters really well in general, but their chemistry is really good.
So, the combination of like from the game, it's the day before and the day of in flashbacks, having it come into just one consecutive day and timeline was such a smart move.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go and rate the episode.
Oh, real quick, fuck Seth. Joel, great job for pushing him down. We'll understand more about what happens, obviously later with the ending of that scene. But seeing Joel on the porch with the light on and the guitar, that was when I started crying. That is going to come in, of course, later without spoilers, but I immediately just was like...
That was rough.
Yeah.
We got some great
Oh,
stuff
indeed.
Yeah,
ahead.
you can see that there's a lot of tension between Joel and Ellie, and
Yeah.
that's coming.
That's coming for real. Rate the episode. Let's go. All right, Owen, how would you rate this episode? Scale of 1 to 10, obviously.
Well, so I immediately rating it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
I save my 10 out of 10 for, like, I think I'm going to save any 10 out of 10s for once the season wraps so that I can connect everything. I don't know, I'm just something in my brain. I'm like, I think I'm going to wait
That's
to doing
fair.
10 of 10s till it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so good that my sweet husband hates the sounds of the clickers so much that he couldn't finish watching the episode with me. So amazing work, always on the sound design, because it made him so scared he didn't want to watch Precious Little Bean. I personally didn't have any complaints, and
Okay.
it's a very strong start, and I'm very happy, especially with all the Easter eggs.
Fair enough. Nick, how would you rate the episode?
I'm gonna go a little bit lower, but I'm gonna justify it by saying I'm gonna give this episode an optimistic 7 out of 10.
Whoa!
And that's because it wasn't anything super special. It was kind of exactly what I was expecting out of the show, but there were moments that I was like, "Ooh, you're doing some nice things." So the big thing for me was Joel. One thing I hated well, not hated, but didn't like in season one was that Joel is so emotional and he felt so accessible in season one, where it was just
Agreed.
like, oh, you can clearly see that he's struggling and he's so open to help from everyone else and he feels all these emotions. Like Joel in the first game, is a cold, closed off bastard of a human being. And it takes Ellie, the only person in the universe that can actually break through his shell and get in there. So that's where it feels so powerful at the end of the game, where he rescues her.
Yeah.
Because no one else in the world could rescue him. Whereas in
Yeah.
this incarnation of Joel, Tommy feels like he could have rescued him. That he's now seeing a therapist who can rescue him. He just feels so soft, and I don't want to call him like a wuss, but he just feels so much more soft and things like that. Having said that, though, I like what they're doing with the character this time around. They're kind of driving it home to say, yeah, he is emotional. He's going to go talk to a therapist. Huge advocate for therapy, by the way. Go and do it. And I'm kind of thinking this isn't the Joel from the game. I'm abandoning that and saying I want to see Pedro Pascal's Joel.
Yes.
And that is why I'm excited for.
Okay.
So that's why I'm optimistic with what they're doing. And I'm kind of letting go of it being a straight adaptation of the games. I'm letting myself just enjoy a TV show called The Last of Us.
Fair.
And I like what they're doing with some of the things. There's a lot of questions that are up in the air, so it's an optimistic 7.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I'm look. We had clickers, we had a stalker, so it's an 8. I'm already much happier. Yeah. No, not that. We're not gonna go that far. We're giving it an 8 for now because I think I'm saving my 10 for the Horde. I have a feeling that I'm gonna be very satisfied with that.
Yes.
And it's not because I enjoy people dying.
It's just
or anything like that. It's just it's just a horror element.
Zoom in on you right there.
Yeah.
No, it really is just a horror element because I always thought that this game is very good with horror. So and I want to see that. I want to see that. I need that in my TV show. So it's getting an 8. I love that stalker scene so fucking much. I love what they're doing with the characters this time around. It feels like they put a lot more thought into it, and that's not saying that they didn't do that in season 1, but it's much more apparent. And I just like the looks of it a lot more. Like the way it was photographed and everything was just, I don't know, somehow it just feels more authentic while it's still The Last of Us. So yeah, it's an 8 for now. We'll see how the season goes. Super excited for Caitlin Dever. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm the most exciting for her to see what she's gonna do with Abby. And we'll see. And yes.
Do you mind if I do just a couple rapid fire Easter eggs, just small things?
Make it very rapid because
quick.
we're gonna get kicked out of Zoom.
It's gonna be so in the garage. Ellie's saying some of the posters are exactly the same as the game. Fantastic, 10 out of 10. Dina brings up the I forgot to write down the movies, but the movie that she wants to watch with Joel is actually something that Ellie brings up in the game that she's going to start reaching out to Joel to increase and put their bond together. I'm going to invite him over to watch the movie. Instead, we see Dina do that. It's nice to see a little bit more of a connection between Joel and Dina. Ellie's working at the workbench. Workbenches are extremely important. Seeing the way that she's putting the gun together, cleaning it, updating it, is exactly how it is in the game. And then we have the split up to kill the clickers. That's how the mechanic's done in the game. They each split up. They take a clicker. They take it down. And then the last one is Ellie drawing in her journal and writing things down. That's another really big aspect of the game. And connecting her between the world is writing things down and drawing them out. So that was a really nice aspect that I was secretly hoping to see. And we did get it. And I was very happy.
Well done. All right. This was the first episode of The Rest of Us, talking about The Last of Us. Nick and Owen is going to be back next week. I'm not going to be here. I'm in Japan.
Which sucks because it's the Horde episode.
I would fucking die if that happens. I would be so fucking mad. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. No way. Fuck that. I'm gonna sue everyone if that's the case because I need to be here for the whole episode. Anyway, calm down, Lily. It's okay. This was us. This was On, Nick, and me, Lily, talking about The Last of Us. Okay, until we're back, please go on CouchSoup.com, read our articles. We're very fun people. Join CouchSoup. You can also write articles if you want to, or you can just read us. Fun times. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our podcasting channels as well, where we put out all our regular shows, which currently is Watching Now. And we should be finishing Daredevil soon because it is finishing this week. I don't know. I don't remember things anymore. And The Rest of Us is taking its place. So we're going to be back. We're going to talk about The Last of Us all the way through. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. So be prepared for that. And we love you all. Please take care and don't let the clicker bite.
Don't bite.
Bye.